Hey, personal finance fans. I've been creating my personal finance videos for a few months now, and when I do my net worth statement where I list out the true numbers of my assets and my liabilities, a few people have noticed and commented on my cryptocurrency balances that I've listed on there, and they've asked me to talk about that a little bit more in depth, so this is what this video will do. I am recording this in late May of 2021, and the importance of that is that this has been, by all accounts, a horrible month for cryptocurrency. So I think it's a good time to take an honest view of what cryptocurrency can do to someone on the good and the bad. So that's really what this is going to be talking about: who should invest in cryptocurrency and who should really not. I guess I have to put the standard disclaimer that everyone does, that I am not a personal finance advisor and you need to do your own research onto anything that you would want to invest. I think you've heard that on other videos before, but really this is just telling you about my journey and what I've learned. You need to do your own due diligence on if you want to move forward with investing in cryptocurrency or not. So why should you listen to the rest of this video? So real quickly, I'm going to talk about who I am, real short, talk about who should invest, who should not. I'm going to talk about my 5% net worth theory that I followed in order to get into cryptocurrency. And then just kind of for fun, I'll show you what I do own with my crypto balance. And what is this video? I'm not going to get a deep dive into cryptocurrency. You don't want to sit here and listen to me talk about this for hours. There's plenty of other content out there. If you're interested, ask some questions down below, and I'm more than happy to do another video. This isn't really a cryptocurrency channel, but I'm more than happy to talk about it because it is a personal finance topic. I'm also not trying to convince you to invest. I think it's perfectly fine if you do not. I don't talk to cryptocurrency with most of my friends. I don't want to. If they lose money, I don't want to be responsible for it. And I don't want you to be. I don't want to be responsible for you because you're responsible for yourself. So it's really just kind of giving some information. If you want to do anything with that, that's completely up to you. So who am I? Real quick. I'm 50 years old. I work a regular 9-to-5 job like a lot of you. And I've been investing in cryptocurrency since mid-2017. So I've seen some ups and downs over the years. I really got into it in 2018 when it was actually, it boomed for a while and then went through a bust. It's something I've been very interested. At different times, I've been more interested than other times. I love reading about it. I love listening to videos, learning more about it, how it's actually more of a utility than some people will believe. But it's something that's kind of a passion of mine to learn more about. So hopefully if a few of you out there feel the same as I do. So why should someone say no to crypto? The main reason is the volatility that you would see when it comes to cryptocurrency. You have to be prepared for large losses. So if you're unprepared, you should not do this. It's actually, you can see, because crypto trades 24 hours a day, you can go to bed thinking the balance is one thing, and it is, and you wake up and you see you lost 10% overnight. That's not uncommon. So if you cannot financially and emotionally handle that, it's not the right thing for you. Also, if you need the money that you're investing in the next 5 years, I would stay away from crypto, or at least I would stay the majority of the money away from crypto. It could get into a huge bear market and you would lose money. So you don't want to use money that you'll need in a short period of time. Now, especially if it's something like, let's say your rent money, my God, don't do that. This could easily drop within the time between now and when you need to pay your rent. So don't look at this like a casino or something that you're trying to double your money overnight. Stay far, far away from this. You might get lucky and make money, but don't do that with rent money or mortgage money or car payments. Stay away from that. You need to find other ways to get income. Also, if you're married, make sure your spouse is on board with everything that I'm going to be talking about today. They need to understand that you could buy and then see a substantial loss. So they have to be, as you are, would be emotionally and financially be aware of the volatility and can be able to handle that. And also, just not with losses, I kind of feel like you need to be able to control your emotions with the gains as well. I don't think you can sit around and see maybe your money double and be jumping up and down like you won the lottery. And then if the next day it lost a lot of that and say, oh, well, not a big deal. No, I think those two emotions go hand in hand. So you really need to be able to handle the gains and the losses and understand that this is not the same thing as your income or your regular cash flow for paying your bills. This is money you're putting aside. You're investing in something that you hope over a long term will turn into hopefully life-changing wealth, but it's not something that you can go crazy for on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to give kind of an example here. So I'm going to show you what my crypto balance has done over the last, I think, 17 months, going back to January 2020 through May of 2021. So you'll see what the balance did right here. It kind of hovered a little bit below and a little above $50,000. Now on this map or this graph, it doesn't look like that's a large gain, but actually though, it was 73% over 10 months. I don't know about you. I would love to invest in anything that would go up 73% over 10 months because you're just not going to get that every day. So that was actually really a good gain that I saw over that time. Now, truth be told, I did add a little bit to this, so probably the gains aren't truly 73%, but I didn't feel like trying to capture the math for this video. But the vast majority of this was just the market rising on its own. But then I wasn't even a bit prepared what happened next. So starting in November all the way through April, I saw a gain of 430%. So when I was down there between like around 75,000 and it went almost up to 400,000. So just something that was incredible. I mean, it was like some days I could just practically refresh the screen and see the balance go up. Can't expect this to happen very often, but when it does, it's fun. I can't admit that it's fun when it happens, but it wasn't, I knew that the opposite could happen as well. And what goes up can also come down, and May of 2021 demonstrated that. Boom, the bottom fell out of the market, and for the month, I'm down about 27% over the entire balance. So not too many investments would you feel very good about if you lost over a quarter of the balance in just 1 month. Now, this has actually recovered some, and it could be very painful. I had one day where I lost close to my annual salary in my cryptocurrency balance. Now, it really didn't affect me, and I hadn't gone through that level of a drop before, but I think because I stayed so unemotional about it as it was growing and expected that at some point I would see a very drastic drop, and I would never know when that would happen. So I couldn't just time the market. So this is something that you have to be prepared for if you get into cryptocurrency. Now, you shouldn't expect a 27% loss every month, but these things happen, and you and your spouse or anyone that you're with that has a tie into your finances, they have to understand this. This is part of it. It really is. It can skyrocket, but it could also plummet as well. So it's something you need to be prepared for. So another reason why you want to say no to crypto, if you get very impatient about getting rich, so to speak. So one of the main things here is, like, let's say if you're planning to use leverage to buy crypto. So what is leverage? A leverage is effectively borrowing money from someone or some institution in order to invest money. You don't want to do this. If this is the first, I guess, jump into crypto. Now, if you're an experienced trader and maybe you're using a percentage of your portfolio value, leverage can be a tool that if you really feel that you understand the market, it can allow you to have some large gains very quickly. But if you don't know what you're doing, you don't really want to get involved with leverage. It really can be a very dangerous way to lose all of your money. So I would stay far, far away. Do not use leverage because you're impatient about seeing some gains. Also, we're all can fall into the trap of fear of missing out, or FOMO. You know, you see commercials, or I guess not commercials, but like TV shows where they're talking about people are becoming millionaires with Dogecoin, and you feel like, oh my God, I got to jump into this one. Everyone's getting wealthy but me. I need to do this. You got to try to tamper those fears down, or I guess feelings down, because there is plenty of time. If you'd felt that way like 2 months ago when you looked at my balance a second ago, you'd be like, this guy on the internet's making crazy amount of money. I need to jump into this. And then immediately you would have saw a 27% drop. So you have to be careful with that one. Maybe now's a good time to get in. Learn more about it and then get into it. But don't emotionally just think you have to get into this today or everyone else is going to get wealthy except for you. You also don't want to be buying more and more risky cryptocurrencies to chase those gains. I mean, there are cryptocurrencies that go up almost double or more than in one day, but those are actually the rare exceptions. and you don't want to put all your money into that, or you don't want to start chasing those. It's really as hard as some people might believe. There are more solid choices in the cryptocurrency world, like something like a Bitcoin or Ethereum. While they are volatile, they're not like some of the coins. So you don't want to be chasing things to get wealthy. So you can't be impatient about this. If you do believe in crypto and you think there is a future for it, it will happen. You don't need to be chasing things and expect to get wealthy overnight. As much as you might want to, you can't expect it. What's a third reason you want to stay away, or you want to say no to crypto? And that's more of your ignorance. And that doesn't mean you can't improve it and learn something over time, but if you're ignorant about it, you want to be very careful. So you don't want to be buying cryptocurrencies that you don't understand. Now, you don't have to become a computer science major or become a programmer to understand about crypto. You can learn about it. There's plenty of resources on YouTube, on the web, that will teach you why some people believe that some crypto are going to be very valuable in the future. And I think on the opposite of that, you need to understand why some people think that they're exactly the opposite, and they're going to go to zero in the future. So I think if you can remove that ignorance, that's a reason that you could in the future actually want to. But right now, if you're ignorant, maybe take the time to learn, but don't start jumping in and buying. Also, you don't want to invest in something because a friend of a friend or a YouTube video told you to. It's the worst thing in the world. I'm sure we've all been to a party and there's some blowhard that's bragging about how much money they made in the stock market or whatever they had. And it's interesting to listen to, and there's nothing wrong with talking to that person to learn about it, but don't do it just because they did. Because first off, even if you followed what they did, you might have already missed the opportunity. Maybe what they did was they got lucky, or maybe they were even smart, who knows? But you can't just do it because someone else said to. So once again, don't just follow the crowd. That's not the way to get wealthy. And extremely important on here is don't get into cryptocurrency if you don't understand the tax or legal implications. You know, in some places in the world, it's illegal to perhaps buy or transact in cryptocurrency. And I think in almost everywhere, there are tax implications. So make sure you understand this. Don't just start buying and selling things and then say, well, I'll figure it out later on. You actually could get in trouble. So, and especially if you start buying and selling these and decide to hide it from the government, that is a huge no-no that could get yourself in big trouble in the future in terms of fines, if not perhaps even like jail time. So make sure you understand anything to do with the tax or legal implications before you would go forward. So let's talk about the reasons why you would consider. We've already talked about the negative. Let's talk about the positive, why you might want to consider it. So you have excess money to invest. You maybe have saved up some money, maybe you've made money on the stock market, what have you, and you want to dip your toes in crypto. That's when you want to do it. So before where I said you don't want to be borrowing money, this is the opposite. This is where you already have money to invest. You want to learn more about crypto. Maybe perhaps that you either believe or maybe you're not quite sure that there is a future in crypto. And how I personally react to things is that if actually I have a stake in it, then I'm more prone to want to learn more about it. If it's something that I'm just reading about, then it's something I'll get to later on. So I like actually investing in something and putting a little bit of money, and I really mean a little bit amount. I mean, to me, if I put $100 into something, I'm going to follow it then, and I want to learn more about it. And that's something that might be how you act as well. So that might be something right there. I would not put 50% of your net worth in order to learn, but a small amount of money that you're comfortable that if you lost it, it's not the end of the world, but you're looking at it more as an educational almost fee in a way, because you know you're going to be following, you're going to be learning more. I think that's a good investment right there. And also, if you believe crypto is more than just speculation, you know, there's something out there called the greater fool theory when it comes to investment, especially in alternative investments. And that's really hardcore speculation right there. It's really that you think you're going to buy something and you hope that a greater fool comes along that will pay you more than what you paid. So therefore, it's pure speculation. What you're buying does not have any, I guess, innate value. Now, if you believe crypto is more than that, and I do, I think there is a lot of utility with some cryptos out there. So if you believe that, you might want to invest in this one because there is a future, even if that greater fool doesn't come around. It actually can start gaining value or earning value on its own, but that's something that you have to believe in. And as I've already hit on before, your emotions have to be able to handle the gains and losses. You do not want to buy something, have it see it drop 10% within a day or two, freak out, and then sell it. That's the quickest way to get rich. Sell $1 or buy $1 and then sell it for 90 cents. You have to be able to handle that. You can't time the market. and you might actually buy in at the wrong time. And that's okay. That's also why I'm not going to get into it here, but you might want to look into dollar cost averaging. So you don't buy everything in the beginning, you buy it slowly over time and then be able to handle it. But the key is that you have to be able to handle your emotions with this one, because it really can have some high highs and low lows, and you don't want this to ruin your emotional life. So when I started my crypto investing, what I really wanted to do was invest about 5% of my net worth. And I did this over time. I just didn't cash out 5% or full up 5% and go buy it. I bought it slowly over time. And I'll give you the logic of how I followed this. Once again, you need to do what's right for you and not what's right for me. So let's say someone has a net worth of $100,000, and let's say they want to get 5% of their net worth in there. So they take 5% of the $100,000, so $5,000, and they go invest in a few top cryptocurrencies and maybe even a couple even more speculative ones. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, maybe a couple other ones as well on there. So let's think about the worst case that could happen here. Let's just say crypto goes to zero. It's a complete joke. It's a complete hoax. You lose everything. Your net worth is now $95,000. My guess is that probably your life hasn't really changed because you lost that $5,000. Now, I'm not saying you should be happy about that. I'm not saying you should be celebrating it, but I don't think your life is really going to be changing, that your net worth went from 100,000 to 95,000. Yes, over the long term, that was not good, and you want to stay away from investments that go to zero, but I don't think that's what exactly would happen. And that's how I looked at this, was that if I lost the 5%, I think in the long run, it would be something I wouldn't even miss. Now let's think about the best case. Let's say that crypto goes up 5 times in the same example right here. So instead of the $5,000 turns into going to be $25,000. So your net worth is now $125,000, and crypto organically grew from 5% now to approximately 25% of your net worth. So you only put in a small amount. It had hyper growth, and now it actually is about a quarter of your net worth. Now at that point in time, you may want to think that's too much, it's too risky. I need to lower this down. I need to rebalance it. I need to sell some of it. That could be a great thing that could happen right there. That's a good thing. When you sell, hey, that's a huge win right there, and go have a great dinner, and now you have all this excess money. And that's really this 5% net worth strategy is how I looked at this one. I saw that the risk was relatively low and the reward had a potential for a high gain over time. Now, time will tell you if this is right or not. Might turn into the worst case, might turn into the best case. I don't know. Once again, this is what I did. Whether this is right for you is something that you have to decide for you and your family. Now for a little bit of fun, what do I invest in? So this is kind of a breakdown of what I have right here. I just kind of put in the top 4 on the pie chart on the side. So Bitcoin and Ethereum make almost 85% of my portfolio. Cardano is another 5%, and this one called Polygon is about 2%. Polygon is one that went through hyper growth over the last couple of months. It was something I just put a little bit into, and it just went through the roof since the beginning of this year. So now it makes about 2%. All the other coins I have make about 9%. I've listed them on the right-hand side. There's a couple other ones in there as well. And FYI, there have been some coins that I've bought that have gone down to 0. So it is something that can happen. And that's why I would not say put all your eggs in one basket. I like to kind of take a couple of the major ones. That's where most of my money is. And then I've put some in other ones. Now, I fully expect that there's a decent chance a few of the ones on the right might go to 0 someday, or they're worthless. And I might sell them, as a tax loss someday. But I try to learn about the coins, understand what their value statement is, and then I listen to some people that I do consider experts and see what they think about them, and then make some decisions for myself. And that's what you need to do as well if you're interested in cryptocurrency. Okay, so it's turning into a longer video than I thought, but what do you think about this? Do you own any crypto? Do you have any plans to invest in the future? I'd love to hear back from all of you, and what do you think about all this? I know that in the personal finance world, crypto can be very polarizing. Some people love it, some people hate it. Probably more people actually hate it. Obviously, I fall on the fence. I'm a big proponent of it, but also I don't put 100% of my net worth in it. It's something that's a lot of my net worth, but it's not. I mean, I think it's maybe around 25% right now. I think it's around 25% right now, even after the loss. But I wouldn't want too much more than that. And I do have a plan to sell in the future. So I've already written down some plans to sell. But I would love to hear from you what you think about this. And anyway, if you're still here, thank you very much. I hope if you're new to my channel, I hope you're interested in watching some of my other videos.